Loving someone with chaos in their soul is a journey through fire, but one worth every scar. I remind myself daily that the madness doesn't define them, it's just one part of a complex story. The storm inside them sometimes threatens to consume us both, but love is the shelter that holds firm. I'm learning that sometimes love's greatest act is to simply wait, hope, and believe in healing. Even when their mind shouts in chaos, I listen for the whispers of the heart beneath. Love is not just a feeling, it's the decision to stay when the world feels impossible. I'm learning to celebrate small victories, the calm after the storm, the smile through tears. Loving someone in chaos means being their safe harbor when the seas get rough. I've become a student of resilience, learning to love through the unpredictable storms. I hold on to hope that one day their mind will find peace and their heart will heal. Loving through madness is a test of faith. Faith in them, in love, and in the power of time. Sometimes the hardest part is not the chaos itself, but the silence that follows. I'm learning that love's true power lies in its ability to endure the darkest times. Even when the person I love feels lost, I believe in the strength of their soul. I try to remind them that they are more than their struggles, more than their pain. I stand beside them because love is louder than any chaos. They're minds I have to love from a distance to protect my own peace without abandoning them. Loving a crazy person is like navigating a storm without a map, but I trust the journey. I'm learning that love is patience, kindness, and the courage to keep trying. Every tear they shed is a reminder of the battles fought within, and I honor that fight. I've seen how deep their pain runs, and I choose love because it's the only way forward. Loving someone with chaos means sometimes stepping back to breathe and then stepping forward again. I try to be the calm in their storm, the steady voice in their whirlwind. I don't have all the answers, but I have a heart willing to keep loving through it all. The chaos tests my limits, but it also teaches me the true meaning of unconditional love. I've learned that healing begins with acceptance, not judgment. Even when they push me away, I hold on to hope that love will bring them back. Loving someone with a fractured mind means walking through fire with open arms and an open heart. I'm learning to love the person beneath the chaos, the one still worthy of all my care. Every struggle is a chapter in a story of survival and hope. I find strength in knowing that love can be a guiding light through mental darkness. I don't let their storms define my love. I choose to be their safe place. Loving someone with chaos means understanding that sometimes silence speaks louder than words. I'm discovering that patience is the most powerful form of love in times of madness. Even in the hardest moments, I choose hope over despair. I remind myself daily that love isn't about fixing someone. It's about being there for them. The journey is long and hard, but every step is an act of faith and devotion. I'm learning that love requires courage, especially when the mind fights battles unseen. Sometimes, the person I love is lost in a storm only I can see, and I stay anyway. I discovered that love can heal wounds, even when the mind refuses to be still. The hardest days teach me the deepest lessons about patience and compassion. I hold on to the person behind the chaos, because that person is still worth fighting for. Loving a mind in turmoil is an act of bravery, hope, and endless compassion. Even when the world feels heavy, love becomes the light that carries us through. I'm learning to love with my whole heart, even when it feels fragile and frayed. The chaos isn't who they are. It's a part of their story, but not the whole. I try to see the beauty beneath the madness, the soul that still shines bright. Loving through chaos means learning to forgive, to heal, and to hold on tightly. I'm grateful for every moment of clarity that reminds me why I choose to love. Sometimes loving someone crazy means loving them harder than they love themselves. I become stronger through this journey, discovering resilience I never knew I had. I remind myself that love is a gift, sometimes messy, sometimes painful, but always worth it. I'm learning that sometimes love means waiting patiently for the storm to pass, no matter how wild. The storm, I choose to stay and love with an open heart. The struggle is real, but so is the love. Deep, messy, and beautifully imperfect. I see the fear behind the madness, the desperation behind the anger, and the hope behind the pain. Loving someone with a chaotic mind means being ready for battle, but also ready for grace. Every tear, every scream, every silence is a chapter in a story that only love can write. I hold on to the moments when they are truly themselves, those rare, precious flashes of peace. The hardest part is not the chaos. It's the isolation that comes with loving someone misunderstood. I'm learning to find joy in small victories and strength in the daily battles. We fight together. My heart breaks for the person trapped inside their own mind's labyrinth, desperate for a way out. It's a dance between hope and fear, love and pain, holding on and letting go. Sometimes the greatest act of love is just standing there, unwavering, while the world inside them rages. I know I can't change their mind, but I can change how I love them, more gently, more fiercely. I've discovered that the line between love and madness is thin, but love is always worth the risk. I'm not afraid to walk through this storm with them, because sometimes love is the only shelter left. Dealing with a crazy person isn't about losing yourself. It's about finding strength you never knew you had. I've learned that love sometimes means standing firm when the world inside someone else crumbles beyond control. The hardest battles are fought quietly in their mind, and all I can do is offer unwavering support. Loving a mind full of chaos teaches me to breathe through confusion and find peace in the smallest moments. I see the storm inside them, but I also see a flicker of light, a hope that keeps me holding on. When the world feels upside down, I try to be the gravity that keeps them tethered to reality. Sometimes the person I love seems lost in madness, but I remind myself they are still fighting to find themselves. I'm learning that healing isn't linear, and love must be patient enough to endure the spirals and setbacks. Their unpredictability tests my limits, but I find strength in knowing that love is worth every challenge. I'm walking through fire to reach the person I know lives beneath the chaos and confusion. There's beauty in the brokenness, a rawness that makes the moments of clarity even more precious. It's easy to feel helpless, but I've discovered that presence alone can be a powerful act of love. I don't always understand their battles, but I refuse to give up on the soul behind the struggle. Loving someone whose mind is a battlefield means preparing for the unexpected and still choosing hope. I hold their hand through storms I can't control, trusting that love will be the anchor we both need. Sometimes, the most courageous thing is to stay when everything inside you screams to run. The chaos inside them sometimes breaks me, but love rebuilds my spirit stronger than before. I remind myself that mental struggles are invisible wounds, deserving patience and unconditional care. When their world feels shattered, I become the glue holding the pieces together, even if I'm barely intact. It's a test of endurance and faith, but I believe love is the light that can heal even the darkest minds. The hardest part isn't their madness, but the isolation I feel while walking this path beside them. I'm learning to love with boundaries, protecting my heart while standing firm in their storm. Sometimes, love is not about fixing, but about showing up, faithful, patient, and present. I wish they could see themselves through my eyes, a soul brave enough to fight every day. There are moments I'm scared for us both, but love gives me courage I never knew I had. I hold space for their pain without trying to erase it, because true love accepts even the hardest parts. In the chaos, I find quiet moments that remind me why I choose to stay and love so deeply. Loving a crazy person means learning to surrender control and embrace uncertainty with an open heart. I am discovering that empathy is the bridge that connects two shattered souls in the midst of madness. Even in the darkest nights of their mind, I believe there's a dawn waiting to break through. I don't expect perfection, only the willingness to keep trying, even when the mind feels like a prison. Sometimes I feel like a lighthouse shining through their storm, hoping my light guides them home. I hold on because I see beyond the chaos. The person I fell in love with is still there. It's a fragile balance between holding tight and letting go, but love teaches me how to walk it gracefully. I'm learning that patience is a form of love that doesn't demand change, only presence. When their mind is a maze, I'm the steady hand, helping navigate the twists and turns. I'm grateful for the moments of peace, even if They're fleeting because they remind me love is possible. I am dealing with a crazy person right now, someone whose chaos pulls me into storms I never wanted to face. Yet here I stand, unshaken. It's exhausting to love someone whose mind battles shadows every day, trying to find peace when the world around them burns in confusion. I'm caught in a whirlwind of unpredictable emotions, walking on fragile ice, never sure if today will bring kindness or chaos. Loving a crazy person means learning to hold your breath through their storms, hoping one day calm will find us both. I watch their walls crumble and rebuild in ways I can't understand. This madness hides broken pieces. They're too scared to show. Dealing with someone so unstable makes me question my own strength, my own sanity. But I keep choosing compassion anyway. The hardest part is watching the person I love fight demons no one else sees, while I try to be their quiet anchor. Every day feels like walking a tightrope, balancing between love and survival, hoping not to lose myself in their chaos. Sometimes I feel like a firefighter trying to extinguish flames that keep reigniting inside their heart and mind. I want to help them, but their storms don't have simple fixes, only patience and a willingness to stand in the rain. It's a lonely kind of love, loving someone who's battling their own mind, often forgetting to fight for themselves. The moments of peace make the chaos worth it. Those rare glimpses of clarity that remind me who they really are. Inside, I've learned to silence my own fears and listen closely to the quiet cries behind their loudest outbursts. When their world tilts sideways, I'm the steady ground, even if it means breaking apart myself to hold them up. Dealing with a crazy person means embracing the chaos while guarding your own heart like precious glass. I have become an expert in reading between the lines, decoding hidden pain beneath confusing words and erratic actions. Sometimes I just sit quietly beside them, offering my presence without pressure, because sometimes that's the greatest gift. Loving a mind in turmoil is like chasing shadows, always shifting, never fully graspable, but never stop chasing anyway. I'm learning that crazy doesn't mean broken, it means fighting battles no one else can see or understand. I see their pain, their struggles, and I choose empathy over judgment, even when it's the hardest choice. The chaos scares me sometimes, but I hold on to hope that love can be the light through their darkest moments. I remind myself that their actions don't define who they are. They're a soul lost, searching for peace. Patience becomes my mantra, because healing takes time, and sometimes chaos is just the language of hurt. I'm not perfect in this. Sometimes I falter, sometimes I feel overwhelmed, but I keep coming back to love. Behind every crazy outburst is a desperate plea for understanding that too often goes unheard. I have to protect my own peace. While loving someone whose mind feels like a battlefield, it's hard not to take their unpredictability personally, but I'm learning to separate their pain from my worth. The silence after the storm is when I find strength. The quiet moments when I see glimpses of the person I love. I'm walking a thin line between holding on and letting go, between love and self-preservation. Sometimes I wonder if my love is enough to pull them back from the edge, or if they're already lost in their own maze. Every day is a lesson in resilience, in hope, and in the courage to stay despite the madness. I've learned that love isn't always about fixing. It's about showing up again and again, even when it's painful. When dealing with crazy, boundaries are survival tools, not walls to shut out the person you care about. My heart aches for the person behind the chaos, the scared soul screaming to be seen and loved. Sometimes I have to step back to breathe, to heal myself, before I can step forward to love them again. Dealing with crazy means walking through fire, but it also teaches you the strength of your own spirit. There's beauty in the brokenness if you look close enough. Fragile, raw, and real. I am learning to forgive the chaos, to forgive their mind, and most importantly, to forgive myself. Love in this kind of madness isn't easy, but it's one of the most powerful forces I've ever known. I don't have all the answers, but I have a heart willing to try, to endure, and to understand. When their mind races and spirals, I try to catch them with kindness instead of frustration. Some days are darker than others, but even in the dark, I hold on to the hope that dawn will come. I'm learning to love without losing myself, to hold them without drowning in their chaos. My love is both armor and balm. It protects me and heals them in ways words cannot express. I'm not just dealing with a crazy person. I'm loving a human with a storm inside. Sometimes, the most loving thing I can do is to simply listen without trying to fix.